Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the DisKingdom.com podcast. I've got myself, Roger, here in the United Kingdom, and we over here in sunny California, we have Abraham, and we are going to give this first podcast a go, and what this podcast is all going to be about. It's about collecting Disney. It's going to be basically any kind of news stories that come up on the website that have caught our interest. There's going to be a few sort of anything other Disney related. It might not even be a collectible. It's just going to be a bit of a random assortment of Disney news and bits and pieces, and that's really kind of the aim of this show. Me and Abe already co-present a Disney Infinity podcast that you can find on iTunes and also on our YouTube channel. So we decided that with the launch of This Kingdom last week, we had a few requests for a podcast, and it was something I had already been thinking about. So I mentioned it to Abe one day, and we thought, well, let's give it a go. Let's see what we can go.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, we've got nothing else better to do, have we? And if we're talking about Disney, we might as well be doing it on live and make a nice little podcast for everyone. So I'm going to let Abe kick off with a little bit of an introduction to himself.
Introduction to myself? Well, I'm not even used to that. All right, this is Abraham from LA, California. Like Roger said, we've been doing a Disney Infinity podcast for a bit, and we're going to be talking about Disney news, Disney, all things Disney. I mean, obviously this is a Disney collectible site, but you know, anything that's announced by Disney usually leads to a collectible. So that's the cool thing about it. We'll bring up some news, and along the way, if we ever pick up a nice little collectible, we'll make sure we bring it to you guys. But yeah, just. That's an intro, I guess.
And I'm Roger. I'm here in the UK. I've been sort of working on the Vinylmation Kingdom website for about 3-4 years now, and been doing bits and pieces on there. I've been a Disney fan all my life, ever since my parents took me to Disney World back when I was a wee little 8-year-old, and luckily I've been lucky enough to go back numerous occasions. I've also been lucky enough to get to Japan and Paris a few times, and also Disneyland in California. So a big Disney parks fan. Generally just love the movies, love collectibles. I have a large collection of Vinylmations. I have all the Disney Infinity stuff. And the pop vinyls are starting to creep in more and more into my house, and the little mystery minis and other bits and pieces. We've now got a large collection of Brito stuff. That's my wife's, and we've got a few gym traditions and a few other bits and pieces kind of slowly picking in. And I think every single one of our mugs is now a Disney mug, and half my clothes. Basically, we just kind of, if it's got Disney on it, it pretty much picks it up.
Oh, I see what you meant by intro now.
Yes. An introduction. Yeah, so that's cool, because obviously this is the thing, is you're going to get to know us over the weeks with these weekly podcasts, and we're aiming just to kind of see where it goes. It's going to evolve a little bit. You know, there might be some changes we might make. There might be some adjustments. I'm also going to, we'd like to have some sort of feedback from our viewers as well, just sort of see what they like, what they don't like, what works, what doesn't work. So, luckily we've been doing webcasts for a good 6 to 8 months with the Infinity. So hopefully we've picked up a few tricks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've started off. So if you are watching this on YouTube, remember you can hit that subscribe button, and if you I've got the MP3 audio version. Remember you can also subscribe to the RSS feed and also iTunes once it goes up there. Okay, so that kind of gives us an introduction into us and what we're about. Yeah, we'll get into it. You'll get to know us anyway. But basically, we launched DisKingdom.com. I say we. It was a sort of a group effort by the team that does Vinylmation Kingdom and also Pop Vinyls. We decided that we've been covering lots of other Disney collectibles like Infinity and Zum Zums and Pop Vinyls, etc. on the Vinylmation Kingdom website. And we decided that we were we were branching out into so many different areas and stuff that it wasn't really fitting with the Vinylmation Kingdom website, so we just decided, me and Matt had this conversation way back last year about launching a brand new website that would allow us freedom to do what we wanted, and we could write about what we want. We can still focus on the core things we are interested in, and you will notice generally at the minute we are still kind of primarily focused on what we were before, while we're getting sort of more people involved, etc. But this podcast is kind of part of that whole thing of giving us a little bit of freedom to run around and talk about different things, and kind of that's the whole aim. So I'm going to kick this off with Abe first on what is his first subject he wants to talk about on this week's show.
Let's see. I think we should probably start off with the biggest news, to be honest with you, because I think that is a big one. Recently, Marvel and Sony Pictures came up to an agreement with bringing Spider-Man to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just for a lot of people who aren't familiar, even though Marvel does own the character, the movie rights were something that they did not own. So therefore, when they sold the movie rights, they weren't able to include him in any of the movies or even create their own movies. So that's what Sony has had. And I think recently with the two rebooted movies, the reboot of the Spider-Man series and the two movies weren't that great. And then the whole hack with North Korea and everything exposed a lot of Sony documents, left them in a little turmoil, and I think it kind of gave them a push, to finally link up with Marvel. And this is great. This is amazing news, especially for the announced third Captain America movie, which is Civil War, which has a lot to do with the comic book, and Spider-Man is big in that. And so, anyways, the final agreement, Sony still retains creative control, they still retain ownership of the rights. However, Spider-Man will now be appearing in movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as a brand new, completely new reboot of Spider-Man. So Andrew Garfield will not reprise his role. But anyways, it's all going to be within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is great. It's exciting for a lot of Marvel fans. I know you, Roger, grew up a huge Spider-Man fan. How do you feel about that?
Me personally, I think it was fantastic news. I was telling my wife about it last night, and she was looking at me like I'd gone nuts. For me, I actually enjoyed the last two Amazing Spider-Mans. I thought they were better than the Tobey Maguire ones. Not Tobey Maguire. What's his name? Is it Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking too. I think it's Tobey Maguire.
I was thinking.
You made me go. Yeah, you made me lose it for a second. Yeah.
I think for me, first off, this whole agreements that kicked in before with Sony having the rights to it was before Disney brought Marvel.
That's
so these
right.
are all like ancestral rights that they've still kept hold of. A number of different sort of properties like Daredevil and Blade, they all expired and they've all gone back to Marvel and Disney. So this one, I think Sony realized that they had planned Venom, and they'd planned the Sinister Six and the Spider-Girl, and all these spin-off movies because they wanted to replicate what Marvel were doing. But I think deep in their hearts, they knew they couldn't do it justice, and they weren't getting... The world of superhero movies has changed in the last 5 years than it used to be. We don't want just origins. Every single movie has to be origin. We're wanting more stories. We're wanting deeper, harder story. We can only watch Spider-Man be bit by a spider so many times before eventually, there was other stories in the comic books, right? So for me, I love it. I think it's a great move. It's moved they're putting in a single Spider-Man movie, and they've pushed all of the other Marvel movies, I think, back like 6 months to get them in. So it's really had a big impact. This is like they've come in and, they've pushed everything to the side to make room for it. And so I do keep thinking, why now really this Civil War movie, they should just call it Marvel Civil War and forget the Captain America side of it. Because if you've got Iron Man and Spidey in there, it's not a Captain America movie, is it?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on how big of a role they give to Captain America on this one. Maybe it's his perspective. Maybe I don't know. But I do see your point on that one. One of the things that I was also thinking is, obviously, with Hulk, when they came out, it was the second movie, part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They already weren't telling his origin story. It was already ahead. And so that's what obviously they'll be doing with this new Spider-Man movie after Civil War. But my question to you is, do you think they're going to stick with Peter Parker, or are they going to go with the other gentleman who put on the mask. What was his name?
Miles
Morales or something like that.
Yeah. Um, I don't think the cinematic universe is ready for that. I
Okay.
think when you think of the movies, this is a very broad scope, and I think if they come out and put Miles in it, I think there'll be so much. I don't know if necessarily backlash, but a lot of people are going, "This, who's this? This isn't." It's like Clark Kent is Superman,
Right.
Bruce Wayne is Batman. I know Disney or Marvel have come up with these ideas, and they put. We had that whole Scarlet Spider thing back in the 80s, and we've had Doctor Octopus. So there's nothing new in the Spider-Man universe, but I think for the movies, I don't think they're going to take that risk. This is big. This is taking some big money, and I don't think they'll mess about with something like that because I don't think people will understand it.
Do you think Spider-Man will play a big role in the movie? Because I know they're going to also introduce Black Panther in this movie as well. So do you think there's going to be like little I don't know about cameo, but maybe just little roles, nothing too drastic?
I think if there's anything less than a cameo or two, I think people will be disappointed.
Right.
I think they have to be careful that they don't. They haven't hyped it up and literally just a scene and he swings in and goes, "Hiya, folks," and then swings back out again. I think people will be.
I hope that.
I think that'll be a bit annoying. I'm more excited. I'm actually more excited about him being in like Infinity Wars, and just the fact that, and I'm not even being funny this, but then you're going to start seeing like Oscorp in New York. You're going to start seeing, they've got then suddenly Iron Patriot actually can be the real person because now he could be, you've got all the other sub characters. You've got all the villains. You've got Venom. You've got Carnage. It's not just, to me, it wasn't just necessary. No, they didn't mention anything, but you can imagine the whole universe is now back to sort of Marvel being able to do what they want. So it just gives you more chance of they'll tell the story longer. I think they've got past this whole. We don't need to make a shortcut every time. They can take their time, and I think it's just really good overall. And I think Spider-Man could maybe do with being put into that group factor, so he's not completely. Because it's always a bit tricky, I think, with Spider-Man, because although he's one of the most popular characters, they've already done 5 movies with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think Marvel would go into a big negotiation with Sony if it was going to be a cameo anyway, so I just wanted to see your opinion on that. Yeah. But yeah, I think he will be a crucial role in this movie. It did push back most of the other movies a little further behind schedule because of this new Spider-Man movie that has been thrown into the Marvel lineup. So it's definitely going to be something big, at least to introduce him into the whole thing. But
yeah. I think the other thing as well is I think there's a lot of sort of hype now and discussion about Fox with what they're doing, because I think a lot of people are like, they're looking at like Fox, for example, and they're kind of, because they've got the film rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four, and I think there's a lot of people want them to be in the universe and for it to be back to what it should be. Now we've all started getting used to this crossovers. We want it to be proper. We want it to be authentic, not having corporation bits of paper telling them what we can and cannot have. It's just a bit odd, but hopefully.
Well, definitely what you're saying, I think this will definitely make it easier for Fox to want to try to make a deal. Only reason why I say that is I believe Disney did attempt to make a deal with them, and because they were so uncooperative, they not only have killed off Wolverine in the comics, they canceled the Fantastic Four comic as well, and I believe they're killing off Deadpool as well in the comics. So, not to mention when Days of Future Past came out, there was no toys whatsoever. Nothing was released, and it's all this behind the scenes controversy because nobody wants to work with each other, or at least Fox wants to take a hold of them. But I don't know if you saw. Sorry, I didn't want to jump ahead, but I don't know if you saw when they announced the Spider-Man deal. Hugh Jackman was actually being interviewed, and they actually, when they saw that, they immediately asked him, and he said that was great. That's something that he would love to see eventually. Does he see it happening during his time as Wolverine? He doesn't. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, I must admit, I think Wolverine's been Hugh Jackman's been very open about the fact that he'll do it. I think he's kind of grasped the fact that Wolverine has made him famous and made him who he is, and he obviously loves the character because he's played Wolverine more than any other superhero has ever been on the screen. So he obviously likes it, and I think he understands it, and I think that's the difference. And I think if he could get into some Avengers movies, he would love it. But anyway, I think we'll move on now because this story's just going to keep going and going and going, and Marvel fans, we can just keep jabbering away on it. Right, so I'm going to talk about another news story that came in that's going completely the opposite direction. For Vinylmation fans, we found out through a source at the Disney Store that there's going to be an 8-piece blind box series of Frozen coming out in March at the Disney stores. We don't know anything about it. We don't know who the artists are. We haven't seen any pictures, but we just know it's coming in March. Big money, loads of Frozen stuff is just so popular. We just knew it might come in. We're not sure yet if it's maybe tied into the new short Frozen Fever, but once we've got some information on that, we'll hopefully share it. But I can't, because it's the Disney Store release, we might not really know anything or see any pictures until it kind of comes out, because they're not traditionally great at sharing information. And it's kind of quite ironic, really, because last week we had a lot of information from sort of Vinylmation community that there's a big sort of uproar because sort of Disney Store, a lot of the artists haven't been producing anything, and they're taking out the trade boxes, and just in general, it's been quite a bad couple of weeks for Vinylmation fans. The news of the Frozen set just kind of went, everyone just went, yay! Okay.
Especially you, right?
yeah, I can't wait to get an animal. I saw some of the Frozen mystery minis the other week, actually last week, and yeah, it depends on the design. Because I may submit, I love Olaf and I love things like that, but I'm gonna wait till I see the designs, because if it's too cutesy for me, that's not something I'm gonna be that interested in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's good to hear that there's still some stuff coming out Vinylmation-wise, as we've shared earlier. We've been seeing the slow demise of Vinylmation. Hopefully, it doesn't go away entirely. But no. It's good to see some. I
don't necessarily think Vinylmation is going anywhere. I think it's just re-evaluating itself, and it's going back to its core park roots. And that just means the Disney Store made so many mistakes with so many bad decisions that they've just sort of pulled out. And it's just going to be going back to being a niche market at the parks. They're still working on new figures and all the rest of it, but I think there'll be a lot less emphasis going forward. So I'm going to pick this over now to Abe for his next choice of news for this week.
Yeah, talking about collectibles too, for all you movie fans and obviously Blu-ray DVD collectors. Target just announced their pre-order for Big Hero 6. Target will be carrying the exclusive Steelbook. On the website, you can pre-order it right now. It's $27.99. Obviously, when it goes on the shelves, I'm sure it'll be a little cheaper. But
yeah,
here's a little quick pic. I don't know if you can see it clearly there. But the Steelbook. I'm sorry.
What date's that one out?
The date is actually, I just had it here. It should be late February, the 24th.
Do you know what really bums me out about this? The movie only came out in the cinema in the UK last week.
Oh, really?
So I'm already going, Blu-ray already? I'm actually thinking, should I import it? Because I think Disney Blu-rays are region free.
I was going to say, in sort of related news to something that was announced not that long ago, you guys have had this Blu-ray for a while now, which was Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin.
Aladdin was just finally announced, even though when they first announced the slate of Blu-rays being released, it was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. And it was just announced that it's going to come out this year in October. It's only I believe out of the 54 classic hand-drawn animated movies, it's one of 5 left to be released on Blu-ray, and it's Aladdin. It's one of the big ones. Why wait so long? But anyways, yeah.
They usually wait every 7 years, don't they, to bring them out of the vault? Because they just released the 101 Dalmatians yesterday, didn't they, in the US?
Yeah, but they passed their Diamond Edition, release it now type of thing 2 years ago, like I said.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's coming out too. But back to the Big Hero 6 though. It is a steelbook. I don't know if you guys get steelbooks out there, but
Yes, I think HMV in the UK gets them as a exclusive. I personally don't really bother too much about. I've been collecting DVDs since they initially announced DVD. I have been into DVDs since, and I was importing them way back in the 90s, and moved on to Blu-ray. And I actually decided we only buy the Disney movies now. That's pretty much all we buy on Blu-ray and like the Marvel stuff, because the cost of them has kept growing and growing and growing, and they're repeated on TV continuously. And I have got a huge collection of probably 400 DVDs sat behind me on a shelf here. So
yeah, I got a big one as
I got
well.
burnt. I got burnt long ago, paying 15, 18, 20 pounds for a Blu-ray or a DVD, and then within 6 months they're £3 in the supermarket kind of thing. But I am. Well, both me and my wife are going through and like buying all the Disney classic DVDs. We're trying to get like all of them, and there's been lots of promotions. They pretty much re-released every single one of them on DVD around Christmas, and they had them all done up with like new covers over the top of them in the UK. Mm-hmm. I was able to pick up like a load of like the really sort of the old ones. Still got around to watch them, like Melody Time and Free, all those kind of ones. And Basil, the Great Mouse Detective, like £3, and they're literally just popping them in. And then you still get the movie report, so you buy them, so that gives us a freebies as well.
Yeah, but as far as steelbooks go, they are very popular out here in the U.S. I know when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it was a mess in the stores. So if you are planning to get one, go ahead and pre-order, like I said, on Target, or camp out on the 24th out here in the States at your local Target. But yeah, other than that, that's my bit. Now back to you.
Okay, so well, I'm going to kind of go on a subject that we actually discussed on our last episode of the Disney Infinity and Beyond webcast, which is the news last week of the Tron characters coming to Disney Infinity as a digital exclusive to PC and also on the iPad. Now, me and I did have about an hour discussion on this on the webcast, so we're going to try and keep it. Yeah, we're going to kind of keep it, and we're going to milk that on the next episode as well, because there's been a lot of feedback. But just generally for fans that maybe aren't fully aware, there was kind of a big sort of uproar from Disney Infinity community, because if you're not aware, Disney Infinity is a Toys to Life. It's like Skylanders, Amiibo. So you have these little characters, and those are you put them down on your game and you play them. Well, they announced these 2 digital characters on the iPad, and basically a whole load of people were just like, we want the figures. There was a really bad backlash, and Disney have kind of gone quiet on that at the minute. But just if you are a Disney Infinity fan, check out the iPad. There is kind of almost like a boycott going on from a lot of the community about not buying the characters, because they don't want to give off the wrong impression. But
did you notice that also Sam and Cora were free to play for how many days was it? I think it's right now. They're free to play for I think 7 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I just saw that, but someone I think Polish mentioned it on our Infinity group. Great idea. I mean, I think this is a great way of kind of here you go. Have them and just play with them, and now of course everyone's playing with them, going, we want them as a figure. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's been we have talked about that in some length on our other show, so we're not going to go on it for too much more. Okay, Abe, have you got another story there you want to discuss?
Yeah, I'll get on to mine. Actually, I might as well piggyback off of what I was talking about earlier, and then what you just said with Disney Infinity. With your DVDs, you get those Disney Movie Rewards. I believe Disney Movie Rewards just put up some Disney Infinity figures for all you collectors. I believe the brand new Aladdin and Jasmine pack has also been up there recently. So if you have not purchased your Aladdin and Jasmine twin pack with the toy box discs, you can get it at the Disney Movie Rewards. I'm trying to remember how much it was, how many points exactly, but it could vary from country to country. So
yes,
they also put up the. Yeah. I was going to say they also put up the. Go ahead. What? Sorry.
Yeah, they're not up on the UK one. We haven't had ours updated in about 2 years.
I gotcha. Well, in the States, sorry. They also put up the Toy Box starter pack for the PS3, and I believe they put Anna and Elsa as well. So you can pick those up there. On to another bit of news here. I wanted to talk about the Disneyland one, but I think it's going to be too long.
Is that the Luigi thing? Or...
Well, yeah, but that's part of it.
All right.
You know what? I'll go through it really fast, I guess. So this year, Disneyland, the original Disney park in California, is celebrating its 60th anniversary since it opened, and it's called the Diamond Celebration, obviously. So they're decking out the entire castle with diamonds and whatnot. It's behind tarps right now, so it's being all. Anyways, they're doing a lot of great new offerings, but they've been really skim. Like the announcements are almost nothing. It doesn't seem like it's an extravagant celebration. All they've announced was there's going to be a new version of the World of Color Water Spectacular show in California Adventure. There's going to be a new parade, and it's called where did I write that down? It's called Paint the Night Parade, which is sort of recycled from one of the Asian parks, but it's been modified to be one here, and then also a brand new fireworks show. But there's been a lot of other sites that usually have some good info, and they talk about other projects that they're working on, but they haven't announced. One that they just recently announced that was also part of those was Luigi's Flying Tires in Cars Land in California Adventure. It's not even 3 years old yet, and they're already getting rid of it. It was inspired by an old Disneyland ride from back in 1960. It was called the Flying Saucers, and you just sit on. It's kind of like if you ever play air hockey. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Roger, but it's like the little puck, and it's floating on air. Same concept. You're just on that puck. It just didn't work. The concept, even with today's technology, you had to really lean, and it never really worked. So now they're going to install a brand new ride, still themed to Luigi. It's going to be like a dancing festival, kind of like in Cars 2 when they go to Luigi's hometown where they're dancing with all the other cars. It's going to be similar. They didn't really release much information regarding this ride and this new system or whatnot. But, however, I do have some sources, and I did look up some information. But it looks like they're going to be using a new ride system that actually uses Wi-Fi technology, and it's going to be trackless. So there's not going to be any track. The cars are going to actually...
Oh, a bit like the new Ratatouille ride in Paris.
Yeah. So, yeah, right, exactly. But this one, apparently, it's a bunch of cars together dancing, so it's going to be interesting. Right. And another thing that I did also pick up was, even though Luigi is a Fiat, these cars are going to be little convertibles, and the only reason why they're going that direction is because they're trying to get sponsorship from General Motors out here in the States. Yeah. But anyways,
well,
there's a lot of
my mum actually does have a red Fiat 5. That's what my parents drive, and it's actually what I'm borrowing at the minute. So I am driving around in a little red. That's awesome. So we call him Mario, and I'm not kidding. We call him Mario because he's a little red Italian car, so we call it Mario.
That's awesome. But that's really cool. But anyways, for any of you big Disney Parks fan, or those of you who are in California, which I did not mention about in my intro, I am an annual pass holder. I go there a lot. And anyways, there's a bunch of other new little things going to come up that have not been announced. So I won't get into them too much because they're not confirmed. We never really talk about confirmed. They're just rumors. But there's a lot of cool things to come. But anyways, July 17th is the official birthday, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I got my dates right. Anyways, but the celebration starts early, so they usually start up like a few months earlier.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it actually sounds like they're doing quite a lot. To be honest, you've got a new parade, a new fireworks show, castles all being redone up, and a few other bits and pieces. It sounds pretty good. I think when you go to the parks, if you've got a new show and a new fireworks, etc., it makes the whole trip feel like different than previously. I know, like when we went to Paris last year, and they had like the swinging spring festival. It felt nice to have a new show. So I actually think that sounds pretty cool. And like I said, the parks are never finished. There's always work going on. There's always something being adjusted. I like the fact that, if that ride wasn't working properly after 3 years, they've obviously decided, well, it's not working properly, we're going to redo it, rather than just go, well, we've only just paid for it. Everyone's just going to have to just deal with it until it's paid off. They obviously, made a good decision just to redo it and start again from scratch.
Oh yeah, Cars Land has been an investment that has paid them back in full. It's been definitely very popular. It's not only raised attendance in general, but it's been record-breaking attendance. Sometimes California Adventure will get more busy than Disneyland at times, so it's kind of crazy.
It's quite funny because the 2 times I visited Disneyland, about 10 years ago, both times I didn't go into California Adventure because I only had a day. I only had like 2 days in LA when I was there. So I went to Universal and I went to Disneyland. Because I remember looking at the California Adventure list 10 years ago and going, well, there's not really anything. There wasn't anything there that was like different to what Disney were to make me want to go in when I could go into the original Disneyland. That it's that kind of thing of that's you want to go in and see the original and just look at the cast and go, is that it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that too because I was able to go into California Adventure before it opened up to the public. They actually had preview days, and I had a good friend who worked for corporate. And to tell you the truth, looking back from day one to today, that park is night and day different.
Yeah.
Like there's like maybe 1 or 2 things that are the same, but everything has changed, and it's definitely a great park now. So.
Yeah,
but Disneyland 60th, come check it out if you're out here in the States, or if you're planning a vacation out here, have fun.
Yes, no, that's cool. Okay, so that is that's kind of, I think that's going to cover most of our main bits of news. Let's kind of bring up something just slightly quickly. Funko and Marvel announced a special sort of subscription box. If anyone's not aware, geeky subscription boxes have kind of gone mental over the last sort of year.
They've exploded, yeah.
Loot Crate, Nerd Block, Pop in a Box, all kinds of different boxes.
I mean, a lot of boxes.
Oh, there's loads of them. F-Box Junior, or is there now a
Z-Box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I've got a few Loot Crates, and I have a monthly subscription to Pop in a Box. But Marvel have announced a new subscription service, and the first one is coming with a huge pop vinyl, which
that's awesome.
It just literally just looks amazing. I'm just going to bring it up here. The launch, it's the exclusive Hulkbuster, and it just looks incredible. It's a huge, great, big, giant one. It's costing $25 per box, and that doesn't include sort of your tax over there. There was also international shipping is coming soon. The Canada one has kicked in, and I think it's every 2 months. But it's actually done by Funko themselves with Marvel. So I mean, there's T-shirts and other bits and pieces, and there's a founder system where you can get a big collectible at the end of the year. I have subscribed, though mine's having a slight detour while Matt's home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know a lot of people are excited about this new one. I think the fact that it's Funko to doing it themselves and Marvel together, I think a lot of people literally, I mean, I know it's been a big success. Loads of people have jumped on it. I think just in general, you've got 2 big companies that people want. The Loot Crate exclusive figures were really popular, but I think Marvel joining forces with Funko to do their own subscription. And I'm glad it's every 2 months, because I don't know, it's that kind of thing, isn't it? There's a hell of a lot of these subscription boxes coming out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when this one drops into people's mailboxes soon. Did you subscribe?
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. The Hulkbuster is amazing. No, yeah, I agree with you. The fact that they're not only is it's Funko and Marvel teaming up, but the fact that it's every other month just makes me feel a little bit better as far as not having to receive one that's full of junk and thing that's not worth the subscription price. Instead, they have 2 months to put something awesome together. and I feel like they won't disappoint. I know this month, obviously, you're going to get Hulkbuster, and it's themed to Avengers. The next one, I believe, is themed to Ant-Man, so that's going to be
Yeah.
cool too, corresponding to the movie release as well. So it's kind of cool, and
I think
yeah, it's a great box.
well, I think because Funko are involved in it, you're going to have there's either going to be a pop vinyl or a mystery mini or even a bobblehead, or I can't see them giving away a Haraki, the big ones, because they're a bit too pricey. But who knows? I would expect a lot of exclusive characters for them, because Marvel are going to want to they're going to want to sell it, and the best way is an exclusive figure, and the Funko guys will go nuts over any exclusive. So it's on to a winner from day one, really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much going to wrap up our very first episode. Like I said, we aim is to do this weekly, and we're just going to talk about all kinds of different collectibles and different Disney news, because there's always something going on. So we're going to pick the main stories that grab our attention on the website. I mean, I'm posting up so many bits and pieces at the minute just to sort of see what people like. One of the things that was very popular on the website this week was a new Wall-E Lego set. That seemed to be very popular. But
oh yeah, they should what do you call it? Another artist rendition, even though it wasn't the official one, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of I'm going to put links to all of the stories we've discussed today on when this show goes up on DisKingdom.com. It'll also be going up on VinylmationKingdom.com as well. And like I said, we'd love to hear your feedback on what you'd like to see us talk about, things that you maybe like us to sort of discuss. Like I said, this is a kind of an evolving project. We don't know quite where it's going to go, where it's going to take us. But it's been a lot of fun just talking about Disney. We're collectors of all different kind of bits and pieces, and just love Disney. And so yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It should be really cool to be able to just discuss lots of geeky Disney stuff.
That's right. We'll give your Disney fill every week.
So if you haven't already done so, remember you can subscribe to the channel, subscribe on iTunes, and if you're on iTunes or anything like that, feel free to give us a review. It really does help. If you're on YouTube, comment below with your thoughts, give us a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. We've got all the social media stuff up there. Currently running a competition on This Kingdom to win a Olaf Disneyland Paris Vinylmation, and all the information will be on the website as well for that. But yes, thank you very much for Abe for joining me this morning, or last night, or whenever it is now in the past for you.
Yeah, no, I'm in the future now. Yeah.
You're on the same day now, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same day.
So that's great. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys next week.
Take care.
Laters.
Bye-bye.
Adios, amigo.